our dough, chaps. We've done our dough.
Hello and welcome to another week of odds. I think, thinking back, this week is week 52. It might be week 53, but I think it's week 52. Last week got back on track in a sports sense, not in a racing sense. We only just got back, drum roll, but nothing special on sport. Got back $44 out of the 50. Just going over to the bet sheet, what happened? Well, getting Nick our Spur at $10 for the place was a very shrewd operation. I saw that on the Friday night and I thought, no, this will start a lot shorter, probably 25 to 1 and 6 for the place. And I thought the 10 was a bit of a gift. Wasn't a guarantee to run top three, but it was likely. So that was good. Then there was a few other little dollars here and there. And then at the Melbourne meeting, the race with Extreme Virtue, I was pretty sure that would get done, but I wasn't sure by who. And the exactor with Field for first and then Extreme Virtue for second paid $106. So the winner paid $17 and Extreme Virtue was, I think, about $2.50 in the end for the win. And yeah, $106 for the exactor I thought was outstanding. So 10%, got $10.66 back. Eagle Farm was all washed out or abandoned at least, so got money back there. So no other wins than those two really to speak of, but that was good. So I got back 44. I don't mind those results where it's not much down or not much up. That just keeps things ticking along. But sport was where it was at. And the reason was those marvellous Adelaide Crows did it again. Cannot believe how and why. I keep thinking that this train will come to an end, but they just keep delivering. The Fog, Rochelle, Taylor Walker, Big Riley, Thorpe. So yeah, the demolition of the Swans helped. Keys didn't have a goal. Keys was in our three. He didn't have a goal up to the third quarter, but then banged on three at the death, and we just needed him for one. So that was $20 at, what was it, $3.10 or $3.30? So I got back 62. So we'd gone back to zero overall prior to that in sport. And then with that 62, we've now up to about $40 in profit. So that's, lifted things, sustained the system again. So looking at our overall standings in weekly standings. So we got back 44 on racing, we got back 62 on sport, and then now to overall, we are up 4.2% on sport. We're up 6.2% on racing. Overall, it's about a 5.7% return. Meanwhile, share market is just humming along beautifully at 9.2. So we're being beaten by about 3.5% there. But I'm just happy to get both of them back in the black. And then now we can sort of move on. And there hasn't been a really big payday since, not Fukubana. It's another horse, say with F, Japanese style name that I really like, but the name escapes me now. But that was a long time ago. That was probably back in week 5 to 8 of this whole thing. It was in winter last year, probably a really similar time, because we were looking at those 2,000 metre sort of winter series races at Flemington. So that was a long time ago. So sooner or later, we're going to crack some sort of trifecta, Quinella, big price winner or place getter that's going to kick it off back into double figures. So up until then, it's just a matter of staying composed and playing the market, harnessing bonus bets, sticking with the mighty Adelaide Crows, although not this week because it's currently raining and goal kickers are going to be very hard to come by. So that was a definite no. But onto that later. So starting with the racing, really good at Eagle Farm. They're making up the races from last weekend. So it's Derby and Oaks. Melbourne, it's at Flemington. There's like one sort of decent race I want to have a bet on. There's a couple that I just will have a bet out of sentimentality, but not much else. And then Pinjarra is quite good. You can do some bets there. There's a Group 3 Hyperion Stakes. Wanted to do New Zealand, just A ran out of money, B ran out of time. This is always done on a Thursday, Friday night. Form usually takes a couple of hours, 2-3 hours to do. I would have liked to have fitted it in because it would have been a heavy track at Ellerslie, which would have played into our hands very nicely. But que sera. So anyway, Eagle Farm. Race 1, going to skip. I'd run out of money by this stage. I was working backwards from race 10. Race 2 was the same, big field, Pisanello at $4.20. I think that's, if that's your favourite and if that's the price, that just signals an open, difficult race, and I just didn't have the Didn't have the fortitude to jump into that at that time. Race 3, 1600 metres National Classic. This was similar. The favourites at 460 Mare of Mount Bullock. Really good horse. But I already had a bunch of races that were being looked at. And then race 4, similar sort of deal. Group 2, a bunch of fairly even sprinters. Favourite at 360 and $4. I thought would have liked to, but I'll just have to leave it. So those 4 races were out of the way. We're going to start at race 5, the Queensland Day Stakes, 1200 metres, 3-year-olds listed race. So big field. There's a few down the order that I thought were good value, but they've just drawn really wide. So number 16, She Hours. So I don't know where they got that name from, but yeah, that's 34. Dream Smart is 81. That's number 17. That's drawn 18 out in the car park. Horse number 19, Heavily Impact, has also drawn barrier 19. That's also paying $81. So those ones, the form wasn't too bad. She Hours will probably try and come across the sit 5th. Dream Smart might be a bit further back in the run, and then Heavenly Impact, Barry's probably paid its chance, but very interesting runner because that had 0 spell, win, spell 0. It won its maiden at the Gold Coast just, and then it had run in a Group 3 and sort of been tailed off on a heavy track. Very hard to know. Going up the order from these ones, Coleman's out of form but been running in really good races, and it's paying $650. Not for me, but it just gives you an idea of that's where the race is at. Horses mixing form, horses down in grade. Winner's Edge, I feel like this will be a good horse for a long time. I can see why it's $3.30, but this is a very tricky field. Hella Fast, that was one I flagged. It's coming off a 5th and over 10th and a 7th listed Group 3 open. But before that, yeah, it had been running well. The wet tracks may have hampered it. Doesn't really seem to like heavy. If you go back at prep, it was running 3rd in a Group 3 to Give Me Space. It was running 2nd to Super Alloy. Before that, it won 3 in a row at Eagle Farm. One of those was a trial, so 2 in a row. But yeah, that at 27 probably is good value. Cosmic Fire probably wants wet, which the track seems to be drying out rapidly all the time. So it's currently a soft 5. Probably will stay that for race day. So yeah, Winner's Edge obviously has the ability and will run well. Hella Fast is definitely value. Velocious, it's paying $9.50 on the tab, 11 on sports bet. So I'd go with the 11s and lock that in. But yeah, 12 starts for 6 wins, good New Zealand form. I feel like this has come over and is a serious customer. Won at Waikato last time on a slow, but yeah, it's seen Group 3 grade. It was down the track there behind Ardalio, but otherwise the runs were good. That's one. And then there was one more down, really right down the bottom, called Silver Wedding, number 20. 5 starts, 1 win, 1 placing. The long form on this horse, it won a trial, they ran 4th and maiden. Then in a Group 3, 3 lengths off Aliana. That's it. That's interesting. Won its maiden at Canterbury by a couple of lengths, and then it's run 7th at the Gold Coast, tailed off, but on that heavy track. So it's a bit of an unknown. That could have a lot to offer, and it's drawn well in barrier 6. So I want to go each way on that Silver Wedding. That might improve on the dry. Heavenly Impact was one I mentioned with a wide gate. That had, in its previous prep run, 2nd to Lead Me On. So that's something to note as well. And I'm going to do each way on the Silver Wedding, a win bet, just $1 win bet on Velocious, and then a very small each way bet on Hella Fast, and then a Quinella for 2, Winner's Edge, 4 Hella Fast, 7 Velocious. I'll throw in number 17 Dream Smart out of those roughies, just on a hunch, and then 20 Silver Wedding, 5 horse Quinella. Then we get into more of the juicy stuff at Eagle Farm. Race 6 is the New Turf Spear Chief Handicap, 1,500 metres listed. Went through this. I think it's a bad betting race. It's a big field. Transatlantic is a good favourite, but it's drawn wide. Desert Lightning is probably going to improve, but it's got a stack of weight, 5 to 8 kilos more than any other runner. I just don't think pumping money into this is going to pay off. I think Transatlantic will cross. I like the way that in its previous prep, it's strung a lot of wins together. Seemed like a horse that could run away at the end of a race over that 14 to 1,600 metre range. I just wonder whether it will get the best run and one horse will beat it tomorrow. Desert Lightning, I'd like to think will improve dramatically based off these 2 Group 1 runs behind Jimmy Star and behind Sunshine in Paris, respectively. Might be a case where the weight just gets it, but I still feel like each weight's worth a little something, especially since its best form has been over that 1500. It won a Group 3 at Sandown, beating Craig. That was on a good track, so probably this slow 5 or potentially good 4 is going to play into its hands. And then down the order there was Fukubana coming off that win, which was good for us. We had it for the win that day, and then we had Mississippi Prince at 50-1 for a place. We won really well, ran away from the field. That was on a heavy track. That was in an 85 grade race, and now it's $4.60 here in this big field from barrier 10. I don't know about that either. So for me, small win bet Transatlantic, small each way bet Desert Lightning, and then just a quinella for those 3. 1 Desert Lightning, 6 Transatlantic, 16 Fukubana. Feel like it's a tricky race. Would give it a low to medium grade of a betting opportunity. So then race 7, now we start to get into the Group 1s. The Kingsford Smith Cup over 1300. Giga Kick was pretty good last time at Morfettville. Made up a lot of ground. Just didn't have as good a run as Reserve Bank. Something just wants me to avoid it because I don't know whether it's the same horse that it was. It hasn't run at this track before. $4.20 is a pretty juicy price to find out, though, for a multiple-time Everest-winning galloper. I feel like Jolly Star is really set up for it. It's had 4 runs back. It looks primed. It's just a great horse. $2.20 might be a little bit short, but it isn't the strongest field. Previewing this last week, I really liked Rise at Dawn. I feel like it is going to make that jump to being a Group 1 horse sooner or later, and this distance off the back of some really good trials makes it quite juicy. Barrier 1 as well. It's going to just get a great opportunity to lead at a cheap price. Benedetta, I followed a lot. It hasn't really delivered, but it's been running in Group 1 after Group 1 and running pretty close up. I mean, last time it was under 2 legs behind Sunshine in Paris. Might not even really like a heavy track that much. It really likes good. Wasn't far behind Jimmy Star. So this isn't that kind of race, and it's probably the most winnable Group 1 it's come across in a while. It's just got to negotiate Jolly Star, who's got a bad gate, and that might be a better scenario for Benedetta being up on pace and being in that big Eagle Farm straight. So I'll stick with the same quinella that I put together last week: 5, 7, 8, 9, and 12. That's leaving out Jolly Star. That's just if something goes wrong, then Zoroaster that was in good form, Rise at Dawn, Libertad for some reason, Democracy Manifest, who had also been running in really good quality but hadn't in really good quality races but hadn't been delivering. That was just sort of taking a punt on those. I think back to reality, like probably it will just be very simple, like Jolly Star will beat maybe Rise at Dawn and then beat Benedetta. So in the bets, I'm going to do a straight out trifecta for exactly that: Jolly Star, Rise at Dawn, Benedetta. And then I'll do another trifecta, those 3 for first, those 3 for second, and then the field for third without Giga Kick, because if that did run third, the trifecta would pay nothing and our percentage would be peanuts of nothing anyway. Just footnotes: Golden Mile tends to always run a placing at big odds. That's a watch. And Rise of Dawn for the place is a good idea, and probably Benedetta runs top 3 no matter what happens. So that could be something to anchor a trifecta or a first 4 round or an all-up place bet. So that is... Oh, also just want to make a note, Democracy Manifest is a great first up record, so 8 starts for 4 wins in a placing. So interesting, it's currently paying 40 and it's 86 on the tote. Race 8 is the Oaks. So the favourites, Philia last time was great in winning. Betagil was back in the field and ran into dead end after dead end. So there's something to be said for that. It may have just come to the end of its prep. It sort of maybe looks a little bit tired. The $6 is a decent price to find out. It might just have been too far back last time and had a checkered run. The one that I like is Moving Out. And the reason is that I think it might be the best horse beyond 2,000 metres. I think this is 2,200, especially stretching out to 25. To me, it just maybe looks like that kind of really rangy staying type. So it made up a stack of ground last time. I mean, from 16th, it's run Philia to a length and a half. Hopefully from 12 with J-Mac on board, it can get to a just not as far back and can maybe overhaul them down that big straight. And that was a Dooman last time. So Eagle Farm's a much bigger expanse. So I like Moving Out. I think that's the horse to beat on. I'll be intrigued whether Pleasure Artist can run anywhere. That's out to 50-1. Jetty's Meadow was rocketing home last time. Yu Wang, I feel like this is always running at about 20-1, but it's run Treasure the Moment less than a length behind that in a Group 1 at Randwick. So that, I think, always is value. And then down the order, there's a lot of horses having a ping at this. Shangri-La Impact will probably cross from 19 and try and lead. I'm just going to keep it simple and go moving out each way, and then a Quinella for 1, Benagil, 3 moving out, 5 Yu Wang, 9 Pleasure Artist, probably more out of sentimentality than anything else. And I think I'll just leave it at that. And then a place bet as well on Yu Wang. If that runs third and plays 6 to the place, I want to have something on it and benefit out of that scenario. So that's race 8, race 9, Queensland Derby. This I'll keep very short. Last week I thought Statuario was a great bet. I still think it's a great bet. It's 650 on the TAB. I think that's great. I think it's the best stayer in the race. I'll be intrigued to see how Existential Bob out of the quick Chris Waller yard goes. That's won a few races through Wyong and Ipswich, and it's come through a different path, a more country path to get to here, but that could surprise. That could be good as a 4th place getter in a first 4, or it might even run 3rd or 2nd. There was one other one here. Oh, Lavalier. I think Lavalier might be a pretty decent stayer, and now up to this, the 3rd behind Stemanile was good. That just might run on, but yeah, I want to be on Statuario. I think it's the best horse in the race, so keeping that pretty simple. Just going over these notes. Yeah, covered everything. It's politely done. Maybe that's more of a 2,000 metre horse. 2,200 might just be getting into a bit of uncharted waters. And Lavalier, I wanted to make the point that all of its runs have been quite consistent. So it had been 2.5 lengths off in that Group 1 at Morford-Bill, half a length off behind Athanatos at Morford-Bill, with a second at Sandown behind She's Arsenal with half a length. So, yeah, just wanted to make note of that, really. So that's race 9, and then race 10, similar field to what it was going to be last week, a little bit different. Comrade Rose is still there. I'll stick with that as an each way bet, very small, maybe like 50 cents each way at this hypothetical 50. There's no Coco Jambu this week. What a name. And then Curvolante, it's down from the running in a 1,600 metre Group 1 to now 1,200. I want to be on it. It's trialled. It's a very good horse. I think, yes, I made a note of this. It ran, I think, in this race last year. It's down as running in a listed race over this distance as the last race on the program, race 10, on the 1st of June, 2024. So I really like it when horses do run either, at least on the same day, but I mean, if it's the same race a year apart, I've seen before that they tend to run well. But yeah, the drop in distance is a little bit tricky, but it is a high quality horse, I think. So Corvolante is interesting. Terramata is a prolific winner. That's paying 21. That's first up. First up records 5 starts, 1 win, 3 placings. Loves it dry. Well, loves it good or soft. Hasn't run on heavy. That's got to be considered. Infancy, I can't really get a read on. Kin, I just want to make a point of this. I think it's interesting that a horse like Kin, 26 starts, 4 wins, 11 placings. Not a winner, really. It's a place getter. And I mean, a good place getter at that. But $4.80 in a field like this, I know that J-Mac is on board, but I just think it's a bad value proposition. So I'll be taking that on 100%. And then a Quinella for 1, Coeur Volante, 3, Terramata, 5, Comrade Rosa. I think it was 4, Bubba's Bay. I think that also had some decent form and was 6 stars track, 5 wins, 1 placing, 11 wins out of 27. 1, 3, 4, 5, 9, Tashi, that's been very consistent, and 11 midnight in Tokyo. So 6 horse Quinella to finish things off there at Eagle Farm. So that is Eagle Farm done. And then we'll just make a little brief sojourn to Flemington before we get to Pinjarra, because Flemington there's really not. Again, I'd run out of money at this stage, and it's not really a great meaning. I looked at some of the favourites in the earlier races. Race 1, Golden State Warrior, didn't think that was a sure thing, so skip that race. Race 2, Miss Ole was a good winner last time. There's another Ole, sorry, not Ole, there's a Son of Kirk. Number 5 called Son of Kirk. That's out of Ole Kirk. That's had a couple of, it's had 2 wins and a placing out of 3 trials. So I think this is also a tricky race. Miss Ole, it's drawn barrier 10. This will be down the straight. You've also got to wonder which side will be better, so I'll leave that as well, just a bit too tricky. Race 3, 1400 metre country racing, big field, tricky to line it up. If you had more time, you could really dive into this. I just think that it's one that could be skipped. Dream All Day, really like this horse. It's out of Savabeel as the side, the Dam's Posey. It has never missed a place. It ran second at Flemington at 200 to 1 last prep. Now it's a $3.90 favourite here over a unsuitable distance, but not an unwinnable distance. And yeah, it's a horse that I think will deliver exciting things in the future. But yeah, on this day, I don't know. Race 4, same sort of deal. Country racing, Victoria Sprint. So many of the horses in this race are winners. It will be really hard to watch all these winning replays and I think find a margin for anything. So just with everything else going on, I'm going to skip that. And then race 5 is where things will kick off. Actually, no, they won't even kick off here. I thought Jimmy the Bear was a decent bet, but the 260's short. It's jumping from barrier 10 and it's a small field. All that together, I don't think it's a very good betting proposition. However, Jimmy probably would win, but I just feel like once you weigh up everything and where you can be putting the money elsewhere, I wouldn't bother. I'll be interested to see if Recall Vow can do any good. But yeah, I'll skip that one as well. Race 6 is where it all kicks off. Detroit City is the favourite at $6, so it's a very open race. It's drawn poorly. It has got a 3 kilo claim. It ran really well last time at Sandown behind Taken, running second. There's a lot of decent horses in this race. Yaldi, Calcalo, or a lot of progressive horses at least. It's going down to horse number 15. I want to have a crack at number 13, Forest Gin. It led all the way at Bendigo last time. It's from barrier 7 here, 2 kilo claims. So it's going to run with 52 kilos. It's 150 to 1 and $28 for the place. Currently the total is 37. I'm expecting tomorrow it's probably going to jump at maybe 60s, maybe 70s, but I don't think it's going to jump at 150s. So I want to have a crack at that $28 place price. And then number 14, Momets. This has been the opposite. This is run at, I think it was Pakenham or was it Cranbourne? Cranbourne. It's come from last. It's rounded this field. Hasn't probably beaten much. It's only won a maiden and beaten Zamperini Spirit, but it did have to do a fair bit of work and it held on quite well in the straight. It's continued with the run. I feel like that's just value. It's paying 40 and 10 for the place. Currently it's paying 44 on the tote. Might start mid-30s. Could blow out more. I'd like to have something each way on that. Probably I'll do it on the tote just because it's more likely to be a better price. So we'll do that. And then a Quinella for, I think it was, what did I pick in the end? I picked 1 Yaldi, 6 Zurain because it represented a bit of value as a last start winner at 16s. 1, 6, 13 and 14 as a Quinella. And then race 7, that's the country achiever Eric Musgrove over the 2000. Just want to keep it simple here. Don't really know what's going to happen. I just want to have something in try and virtuous circle because it always tends to win at huge odds. And it's currently paying 40, 1 and 9 for the place. So something there. And then the other races, I just didn't have time or the cash, but Chocolates is a cool favourite in the race. After that, I would definitely have something if I had more money. And then the last race, yeah, very open. Not a super flash meeting. So that's Flemington done. And then Pinjarra. So let's get stuck into Pinjarra. We'll preview a few of the first ones, even though there's no bets. So race 1, no bets. Zaza Rock and Fat Roy Slim haven't run the distance yet. This is over 2,200 and it's a small field. Just didn't want to be involved. It was Western Power and Fat Roy Slim. They haven't run that. Or was it Zaza Rock? No, Zaza Rock has. That has, but Western Power, I think, was up to the 2,000 meters. No, 1,600. One over 1,600. So that's the $2.20 favorite. Zaza Rock's at 440 and has actually won over the distance. And then Trio also only got up to 1,600. So I think they were the two favorites when I checked this yesterday, Trio and Western Power. So they haven't run over the 2,200. Zaza Rock has, and I think Fat Roy Slim has as well because that's run second to Zaza Rock. Yes, that's what it was. So probably lean towards those because they've just got the distance experience, 1 and 4, but it's a no-bet race. Race 2, small field, many winners, no idea. That's a skip. Race 3, this one's good. A lot of first starters, a lot of lightly raced horses. So the favourite here is Too Darn Stormy. It had a really good run last time. Willie Pike gave it a perfect run about 4th or 5th, but then it just peeled out, and it didn't really rocket home. It sort of maybe labour is probably too strong a word, but it sort of ground home. So I don't think it will get as good run again. And Barrier 9 is a little bit tricky. So I think the 240 is far too short. Moonwalk is a leader. That's at a Barrier 1. And last time it got run down by Too Darn Stormy, and it had to cross in Barrier 8. So I feel like the tables have turned a bit here. I'd much rather be on Moonwalk at the 370. And then LV, there's a horse called LV, number 10. This one has had good trials, second, and 4th. So each way on number 10, LV. And then Sister Mary, number 12. This is currently paying 81 for the win and 12 for the place. 4th in a trial, 5th in a trial, and that's 1 a trial. And that was on soft ground, but it's likely to probably be a soft track. It's currently a 7. So I want to keep those in the frame. Ferradio gets back, number 4. Bannett, number 3, has won 3 trials. Not lately. It won them before its 2 recent runs, but just thought that should be mentioned. That's paying 7, maybe a fraction too short. So Quinella for 6 Moonwalk, 7 Playing It Sweet. That's another of the sort of the second, third favourites. 10 LV, 12 Sister Mary. And then each a place bet on LV and a win bet on Moonwalk. That's race 3. Race 4, 2 open, no insights. That's my only note. So moving on. Race 5, 1200 metres, 66 grades. This isn't a particularly good race in terms of being black type or anything of that nature, but not bad for betting. I think Reuben Gold, second up here. It's 3 starts, 3 wins, second up, and it's won 4 of 11, and it can handle soft if the track stays that way. I just feel like it's better value than the favourites. Objectify is the favourite at 5s. Great name. I like these sort of one-word adjective names. That's from Barrier 1. And there was something else that was really short in the market. Might have been Berbere. That's from Barrier 11. Regal Statue is 550. I just feel like Reuben Gold's the better of them. Berbere ran ran 9th. 9th and 9, then it's run last in a trial, and it's still paying $6.50 here. So I'm not sure if there's some inside knowledge going on, but that doesn't really bode too well normally. And Objectify lost form also, 7th, 4th, spelled 6th spell. So yeah, Reuben Gold there. Race 6 is 1600 metres. Rudyard, number 1, I feel like will be better over more ground. It sort of has won some weaker staying races over the 2000. Forever Boy is the favourite at 250. It's up to its right distance range, but the odds I think are too short at 250. Arcadia Park, number 6, 3 kilo claim, second run back here. It's placed before second up. It's getting up to the distance range that it likes. I'd much rather be on this at 850. It's currently 14 on the tote, so it might actually be something just to choose to select a back on the tote. But yeah, at least 850, that seems quite good to me. It runs on solidly, so I'd much rather be on that each way in this one. And then race 7 is the feature, the Hyperion Stakes Group 3. So Western Empire and Magnificent Andy are the 2 favourites. Western Empire is second up. It's 1-2 from 7, second up. This is a horse that's won 10 of its 29 starts, so it's a serious customer. It's got 59 kilos like the vast majority of this field. Actually, wait, yeah, no, the vast majority. 4 Magnificent Andy. It's been running really well lately, but it's won 10 of 37, so it's, a prolific winner. But these races, these sort of Group 3 big field sprinting races in Perth in general, they're pretty tricky. There can be volatile results. I don't think taking the 270 about either of them is really the best way to go. Bustler, number 3, is a very good horse. That's second up today. That's running some good company in its last prep. It's been perfectly drawn in Barrier 4, so that's an instant one that is of interest. Comfort Me, that's run second in a railway stakes, and it's been thereabouts lately in Group 3s, but never far away. It has drawn badly, but the 26 is quite palatable, and it's currently 190 on the tote, just as an FYI. So want to be on that. Want to be on Bustler as well. And Triple Missile has not been far away lately. It did run 12th last time, but the margin was under 5 lengths, and ran 8th where the margin was under 3 lengths. And then before that, it won at Bunbury. And both those times it was drawn in barrier 12 and barrier 6. And then today it's got barrier 17. So tricky, but very capable horse. Hemlock Stone is great second up. That's paying 11. 3 starts second up, 2 wins and a placing. And then Mood Swings is totally out of form, but I've seen this story before where it starts like 80 or 100 to 1 and actually runs a placing. So from barrier 1, that is something to take a note of. It's 126 on fix, so it's 25 on the tote in classic sort of style. And then a lot of good men. This one I'm really enthused about. 19 starts, 4 wins, 7 placings. It has been close up. Pinjarra last time it lost to the Boss Lady by 2 lengths. Ran last in a trial and 9th in a trial prior to that. But then before that, it was only 4 lengths behind Comfort Me in a group 3. So I think that's got a lot of improvement in it. When I looked at this yesterday, there was something that even drew me about it. It had got up to 2,400 in its last prep. And I was just interested that it was running here over the 16. But I feel like that's got a lot to offer. And River Rubicon is great second up. That is 200 to 1, paying 30 for the place. But second up, it's 7 starts for 2 wins and 4 placings. So I'd be definitely having something on that $30 for the place, if not the 200 for the win. And it's 1 start, 1 win at this track, and 8 wins out of 38 starts overall, and can handle soft and can also handle heavy. So that is really interesting. Barrier 3 perfectly drawn. So that's a great betting race. And I'll do a Quinella there as well, probably for 2, 3, 5, 8, and 9. But we'll check the bet shed at the end. And then race 8, the last race. This one, I've got a special. Before I get to that, I'll just make a note that keep reading. I think I made a note that I'd never seen a horse do something. I can't remember what it was now, but 40 to 1. Oh, it was started 100 to 1 so many times in a row. So it's 3 previous starts run over 10th, over 10th, over 10th, but it was 60 to 1 last start. Before that, it was 100 to 1. Before that, it was 100 to 1. So they're reaching for the sky with this every time. Before that, it was 90 to 1. That just blew my mind. That you rarely see that. What else have we got? Frigid, great second up. That's currently paying 19. 5 starts, 2 wins, 2 placings second up, and it's coming off a winning trial as well before the 5th. Royal Toronado is great second up. That is 3 starts for 2 wins second up, 21 starts, 5 wins, 5 placings. That's paying 19. And then Ancient Guidance, nice trials. So the form itself is Spell 8th, 9th, over 10th Spell. But it's won 3 from 15, and it's run 3rd in a trial, then 1 at Albany trial. So that's paying 51. That's of interest. Might get scratched depending on whether those bottom markets get a run. But of note anyway. But the one that I want to be on is Love and War. It's pretty short now. It was $2.25 yesterday. Now it's $2. But gee, the way that it woke through the field and won last time, I feel like this is quite a good horse that's going to string a couple together and then end up running in sort of like an open grade or a listed grade race. So drawn beautifully in 5. It's paying $2. I just feel like this is got something on the rest of the field and is something to have a big bet with a bonus back guarantee. Not a guarantee, but like a bonus bet 2nd or 3rd token with sports bet to use on that would be ideal. So I'll definitely have a win bet on Love and War. And so that rounds out all of the racing. And then AFL-wise, so the rest of the games are a bit weather compromised. Richmond Sydney probably will be. Geelong Gold Coast probably will be. The one at Manuka Oval with the Giants didn't really grab me either because I just don't. Port could be cooking up something after 3 losses in a row. A Ken Hinkley special. So the one that made most sense was, funnily enough, West Coast North over in Bunbury. It's going to be pretty dry, and West Coast were pretty good behind Geelong last time. I know that the margin blew out at the end, but they were really threatening for a while there. So I feel like they can topple North. So it's going to be a 4-leg multi. West Coast with a 23.5 head start at the line is really handy. And then the big guns, Oscar Allen for a goal, Nick Larkey, the Suv for a goal, and then Liam Ryan. In dry conditions, I think he'll snap 1. So 4 legs, that's just $2. I don't know who's going to kick a bag, but I don't really want to take a risk. I'm just going to go very conservative and just go for $20 on that at the even money with a bet return if we miss a leg. So that's everything. If you can get some bets on in New Zealand with these wet tracks, especially at Ellerslie, I recommend it. Pinjarra is great. I think the Epsom Derby's on this week, so you can do a bit of international betting and form. That's of note. And then Eagle Farm should be very interesting. Hopefully Statuario is a Derby winner when we come back next week. But yes, still on Project double digits, let's call it, to get out of this 5.7% that we keep on hanging at, and to finally get up to the rare area of 10% and above profits. And we will just continue on ploughing on to that. So have a great weekend and good luck as always.
And then came Sweet Liaison as they turned for home. Jefferson, he's been in front every inch of the way. He's out like two.